Welcome to this episode of the She Scales podcast, where today I'm coming in with something extra juicy. Now, for context, this came about as a conversation with a girl that I just met last week. She's another coach, and we were comparing stories, getting to know each other, and she was talking to me about her current coach and telling me a little bit of information about how they found each other and what she's loving, what she's not loving, and all of this. And as she started to describe this person and the success that she built, but also give a little bit more color to the picture, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like alarm bells were going off for me, because even though this person had built a really high level of success, it had seemingly come at the cost of everything. And so my face, which does not hide what I'm thinking very well, must have looked like, I'm sorry, what? Because I just knew that there was such a better way. And so what I wanted to do, I've created a post on this, but I really wanted to come and share this on the podcast so that we can really get into the value, because there's so much value to be gained from this story. And I think anytime that you hear a story like this, or you come across someone's real life experience, it's so much easier to see what could be done differently when you've got a real life example. So I am just going to say, we're going to be getting into the nitty gritty of, if this person was working with me, how I would help her to do things differently so that she could change up her circumstances dramatically without it having any effect on her success in terms of how much the business is generating. In fact, the business would be able to generate more, whilst like at least halving her workload, at least halving her workload, and massively improving her level of enjoyment, her level of happiness, her relationships, her personal, physical, and mental health. So all of these things, I'm going to come into the story now, but I wanted to give you this context because you hear me talk about freedom, happiness. Yes, of course, the sales and the business and all of this side. But if you're growing a business at the expense of your personal, physical, and mental health and your happiness, what are you doing it for? You got into this business to give you freedom, presumably. You wanted more money, more freedom, more choice. And so if, in the case of this person, you find yourself that you've got a certain level of success, but it's come at the expense of everything else, it doesn't have to be like that. It truly doesn't have to be like that. So I wanted to bring this example to the podcast so that we can talk this real life story through, to talk about. And what I am just going to say, I realize that I'm jumping around, but you guys know that I don't edit these episodes. I am just walking around. I am going to actually sit for this episode because I want to make sure that I get all of the details through onto this podcast episode. Now, I am just going to caveat, I have made a lot of assumptions with this. I don't know that this is true or the case, because all that she said to me was that this person is a mindset coach, and that this person is doing 60K cash per month, and that she's doing it with between 20 and 25 one-to-one clients. Even just that fact alone, without knowing anything else about this person, I was like, good God, that sounds horrendous. 20 to 25 one-to-one clients sounds like hell on earth. That's without knowing if she's got a team, if she's got support, if she's got systems. 20 to 25 one-to-one clients. Just to like layer on, again, without knowing any details, any context, I don't know anything about this person. But if you're juggling 25 one-to-one clients who you're saying that like one-to-one should be your highest level, that should be, these people are getting your most premium service. So they're getting the most flexibility from you, their most proximity to you. They're all getting personalized strategies. They've all got a personalized and nuanced story. So they've all got a personalized pathway of how they get results using your methods. They will all have their own challenges, wins, obstacles, all have different start dates, all have different end dates. And this is 25 people who all have access to your time. Every single client that you're signing, that's coming out of time out of your diary. And there's 25 of those. Good God. So, just to give you that little bit of context. And so, all the information that I had heard from my friend was that she was doing 60K a month cash through these 20 to 25 one-to-one clients. So seemingly successful, but I was already hearing the alarm bells from the number of clients who all had high proximity and a high level of access to this person. I'm starting to already imagine what this person's daily and weekly and monthly life is like, trying to juggle that many high level clients. And I was like, oh God, oh God, oh God. And what was it? The bit of information that she gave me? Oh, that's it. She said she's constantly stressed. She's constantly working. She can never take a break. And that she was soon to be getting married. And in the run up to her wedding, had said to my friend that she couldn't wait for it to be over and done with. She just wanted to get it out of the way because she was too busy thinking about work. I was like, sorry, what? This is your wedding. This is like a massive life event. This is one of those things that when you're old and grey and you're going to look back over your entire life, your wedding should be one of those standout, like one of your biggest milestones. And you're going to wish it away because you're too busy in the business? Are you for real? Are you going to like bring all of your family around and host this incredible event that you don't even have time for and that you're not even going to be mentally present for? Because when that day comes around, you're mentally going to be thinking about the business and all the things that either you haven't done yet, or who you haven't replied to, or who you haven't got back to, or what needs to be done as soon as you're finished up on that day. Are you joking? And so just by telling me those little bits of information about cash she was bringing in, number of clients she was juggling, and the fact that she was constantly stressed and not even wanting to really be at her own wedding day, I'd got such a picture of this person already. I was starting to see this person who, the fact that you're almost resenting that you've got to take some time out of the business to go get married is wild. Absolutely wild. I can't imagine wanting to be so excited for this life event and yet that feeling like a priority that's going to like distract you from the business because the business is what the thing that actually needs you. Like, what? Mind-blowing. And so I was starting to see this person who, in the run-up to her wedding, is so busy thinking about the business, she's not prioritizing the wedding. She's likely not prioritizing her soon-to-be hubby. She's likely working all day and bringing that stress home at night, and either they're not talking about it or it's sort of the thing that they're kicking underneath the table. She's probably carrying a lot of stress with her from her working day, and so they're getting into bed at night and it's like this unsaid thing, and you're already starting to notice in the intimacy of what should be their happiest time, their most excited time, like their honeymoon period as they're coming up to their wedding. And yet she's getting to bed so tired every night that she's not in the mood. She doesn't really want to be intimate. She goes to bed late and already wired from her stressful day. And then she's waking up and it's the first thing that's on her mind when she wakes up because she's already thinking about all the things that she's got to do and who she's got to get back to. So straight away she's on her phone rather than enjoying that sacred time with her soon-to-be husband. She's already on her phone, checking her notifications. She's up, she's gone. And so those special moments of intimacy, or what should be special moments of intimacy in her soon-to-be marriage, are already feeling the effects of she's not mentally there. And so just by this person telling me what this person's lived experience was like, I'm starting to see someone who the cracks are already beginning to show in what should be the best time of her relationship. Again, I will say, I don't know if this person has a team. I'm making assumptions here, but this is the sort of picture that was starting to build in my mind of this person that is constantly stressed, coming home, bringing all of this home, Her hubby's noticing it, but not wanting to say anything because he's excited for the wedding and he's thinking, well, maybe when she gets past this part, everything will be better, or maybe when she hires that next person, things will get better. But he's noticing it, and she's going to bed tired. She's not getting a great sleep. She's missing her workouts because she's busy juggling so many clients that her own physical health has had to take a back seat. And so she's noticing like she's just grabbing food quickly because she's not doing like healthy food prep anymore. She's just grabbing whatever's quick and on the go. And so she's noticing that her clothes are fitting differently. But she's like, well, I'll sort it after this next wave, or after that next client, or next month. I'll get back to it. But then she's looking at herself in the mirror and she's not feeling the way that she used to feel about herself anymore. She's not feeling like incredible, and she's putting on baggy clothes. And so you can start to see the picture of this person who, because they're way overloaded in the business, with seeing those ripple effects across every other area. She's not seeing her friends as much, not spending as much time with her soon-to-be husband. Physical health is starting to see the effects. Mental health will start to be seeing the effects. So all of these things are adding up. And if she doesn't change those things, or doesn't bring in something to increase her happiness, increase her freedom, sooner or later, there's going to come a breaking point. And either that will look like she hits burnout because she's been doing far too much for far too long, or if she doesn't change things in the relationship, she's at risk of divorce in 2 years because there were already cracks and both parties left it too late to fix them. Now, again, I'm making sweeping generalizations. I don't know if that is the case. But if that's what worst case scenario looks like, and if there was a better way of doing things, would you not? Instead of working and now let me get into the maths on this one, because instead of juggling 25 one-to-one clients, what if there was a better way that allowed you to keep that same level of income, 60k cash months, if not increase it, by juggling less time in the business so that you could increase your happiness and increase your freedom and have a life and a sex life? How wonderful. So I'm going to get a little bit mathsy with you, because if this person was my soon-to-be client, the first thing that I'd want to be doing is really getting into exactly what is happening within the business so that we can look at where is the best place to bring in scalability. What does that look like? And if we want to genuinely increase revenue whilst decreasing hours, we really need to understand what is happening. So based on this hypothetical person who I've now just read her entire life story, we'll call her Laura. So I've made a lot of assumptions about Laura's life, but if that is the case, and if everything is on the line and that there's only so much or only so far that she can realistically carry on putting her entire life on the back burner for the business, then realistically she's on a VIP fast track to burnout, to misery, and to a potential divorce within the next couple of years. So we're going to change that, because what I would love to see more women, especially more women business owners, is having like this so unapologetic energy. And this comes from you living an incredible life. When you live an incredible life, you feel incredible about yourself. You fuel yourself really well. You move your body. You do the things that make you feel amazing. You dress in a way that makes you feel amazing. This is what's going to give you a whole new level of unapologetic energy. And it's that you can bring into your content. You're going to really struggle to create really impactful, empowered, unapologetic, and messaging that moves people if you yourself are not moving. So, because I want to see you be having, or Laura especially, I want to see her have great sex with her hubby. I want to see her have the opportunity to take a honeymoon period without feeling guilty because, like, what is the business going to do if she takes time off? I want to see her able to have a healthy bedtime routine that allows her to sleep well and wake up feeling like a queen next to her soon-to-be king who wants to spoil her before she even gets out of bed. I want to see her get back to her regular workouts and eating healthy again so that she feels great in her clothes again and she's fueling herself like the high-performance engine that she is. Boom! That is what I want. It's not just about how successful is the business. This is about the human behind the business. If you are not treating and fueling yourself like a high performance engine, then the output of the business is only going to be able to run so far. If the fuel going in is shit, don't be expecting long distance marathons from your business. You might put out a few sprints, but what we really want to do is to build a sustainable, long term, healthy business. So that we've got to be focusing on a sustainable, long term, healthy you. So here is what I would be doing. First is analyzing the current situation. So as a reminder, she was bringing in 60K cash months from 20 to 25 one-to-one clients. So let's round that down to say 20 clients. That's around 3K pounds per month per client. Now, I would estimate that to pull off that many one-to-one clients, and if she doesn't have a team behind her, that in order to juggle that many clients, she's likely working around 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, and at least some hours on the weekend to catch up. At least. So let's say 5 hours on one weekend day. Let's say she's given herself one day off, but I don't think she is. But anyway, so let's call it 55 hours for the week. I do also happen to know that this person's sales method, because my friend was telling me that this is what she's been taught by this person's sales method is using sales calls, therefore adding more calls to her week than the already 20 to 25 client calls she already has. Good God. And it gets worse. Her sales method to get people on calls is to send 50 outbound cold DMs per day. Lord have mercy. I'm not going to even get into that. You guys know my stance on that. If you're creating better content, you wouldn't need to do that. That is just so problematic. And it's things like this. And to hear that this is being taught by even like people right at the top, and it's just send 50 cold DMs a day. Like, it's no wonder so many people have a difficult relationship with sales. If that is what's coming down from the top, and it's just hit the numbers every day. That's disgusting. Like, work on creating better content. No. Anyway, let me just not get sidetracked by that. But anyway, we've got the picture. This woman is doing about 10 hours per day, at least 5 hours on a weekend. So about 55 hours over the week, plus sales activities on top of that time. Goodness. So here's how we're going to change this woman's business and save her life by the sounds of things. First thing I'd be doing is to create a high ticket signature group program. Because at the moment, the only thing that people can buy is her time. So we need to get the knowledge that's out of her head into something that people can buy that isn't her time, so that she can serve multiple people at one time in one set of time, rather than juggling everybody manually, individually. We'd build her one process, because I already know between 25 of these clients, I could almost guarantee that around 75% have got similar, if not the same, questions, issues, obstacles, things that she's teaching, things that she's helping them with. There will be a lot of crossover. Maybe it's not as high as 75%, but there will be a lot of crossover. So there's going to be a lot of times where she's either repeating herself or doubling up on work just because she's working hard, not smart. So this is what we really want to change. So we'd build one process, one set framework, one signature offer that the majority of her clients can come through, that gets her clients epic results. One offer that she sells consistently throughout the year, and she's known for that offer. You know, let's call it mindset mastery, a 6-month mastermind, making things up, but you get my point. Inside this program, so she's got the choice. She could either do live trainings if she wants, but still deliver it to everybody in the group at the same time, or she could fully record the trainings part, so that all of that teaching part was done, and actually only the facilitation and the group coaching and answering questions and helping people with their implementation was live. So if she was to fully record it, then her clients could binge the trainings in their own time, And the only time that she needs to give in an average week is 1 hour for the group call and maybe 30 minutes a day inside the group chat answering questions along the way. So, given that she's already built up a high level of expertise, like clearly she's not struggling for sales, clearly she's getting her clients epic results because she's booked out at this level. So we already know that there's a high level of demand, great client proof, high level of expertise. So we would price this accordingly into the program. So let's say that she charged £1,500 for 4 months. I know it said 6 months before, but I'm reading what I did in there in the post, and I'm just going to stick with the same numbers because we're going to get a little bit mathsy, but stick with me. So let's say she charged £1,500 per month for a 4-month program. If she was to launch this and enroll 25 clients into that program, which she's already doing, she's just doing it all manually, 25 different sets of time. So we're just going to collate that into one set of time where she can help those 25 people at the same time. That would give her 37.5k cash per month for the next 4 months before any new sales or any new low ticket offers, any new re-signs, any new upgrades. That would give her 37.5 cash for the next 4 months without having to not do any extra work, but without any new sales, which obviously is a massive head start. Now, update. Introducing a signature group program like this would mean that even if she halved her current one-to-one clients, so we've got this group program that we're bringing in that she can serve potentially unlimited people. Maybe she might want to have a cap on there, but she could serve unlimited people. But even if of the people left over, even if she halved those current one-to-one clients, she'd still be making more than she currently is. Let me break that down for you. She's getting 1.5k times 25 people inside this group program. So that's the 37.5 per month from the group program. Plus, remember before we said that we estimated that she was getting about 3k per month per one-to-one client? So if she took on half of those, because now we're getting some of her time back, she's collated a lot of people into a group program. So if she was only to serve 10 one-to-one clients instead of the 20 to 25, that alone, 3k per month times 10 people, that is also 30k per month from one-to-one clients. So if we combine those two things, the 37.5 from the group program plus the 30k from only 10 one-to-one clients, she's now getting 67.5k per month, whilst saving around 10 to 15 hours of Zoom calls per week, plus all the additional time saved because she's now serving 25 people in one group chat instead of having 25 separate conversations. So there's all of the Zoom calls she saved, all the individual, I need to be here, I need to be here, I need to be here. Like, this woman must be having 5 to 6 Zoom calls per day. And let's say that she maybe has Mondays where she doesn't take calls. That means that she could be having 6, 7, 8 calls per day, like by prioritizing her Zoom calls in one day. That's exhausting. The Zoom fatigue from that is going to be wild. Anyway, coming back on track. So if we estimate that she's now saving approximately 1.5 hours per day in reduced conversations, because remember, she's now serving 25 people in one group chat instead of having 25 individual conversations. So if we estimate that she's now saving approximately an hour and a half per day in reduced conversations, because remember, in a group program, people will be answering each other's questions as well. So that takes the onus off the host to need to answer everything because they'll be helping each other, which is incredible. So between the hours saved on Zoom calls plus the additional time saved from replying in 25 different group chats and collating that down, that's now 22.5 hours saved per week so far. Are you still with me? Let's continue. We're just on the so far bit. So we've now created her high ticket signature group program that she's known for. She could turn that evergreen and be enrolling new people. She could either choose to do it launch style and do like really big launch, 3 times a year, let's say, Or she could choose to do evergreen and be enrolling new people every month if she wants to. Did I put it in here? Because the other thing that I wanted to mention, I'm skipping ahead on my slides. Maybe I didn't. Because there's one more point that I want to say on this is with this high ticket signature group program, if she was to enroll 25 people who were paying 1.5 a month, and let's say it's a 4-month program, yes, that gives her 37.5 cash per month for the next 4 months. But let's not also forget that's 120k sales month just from that one launch. So not only does it set her up for the past the next quarter and into the next one, that's 120, potentially even more. I've got my calculator up in front of me. But yeah, potentially 120k sales. Think about if she was to do that in, let's say, what month are we in? March. If she was to do that in April, that would not only give her revenue through April, May, June, up until July, but it would also give her a 6-figure launch, build massive momentum on social media, build a massive wait list for people who were interested but didn't sign up this time around. So it will massively grow her email list. And so when it comes to her, if she doesn't want to do the evergreen model and just have people signing up at any time, if she wants to keep the demand really high, then what she could do is start taking deposits or building a wait list for the second round. And let's just say, given how stressed she is, let's say she's got these payment plans going until July and she wants to take August off completely. And so she wants to start enrolling for the September round. She could be enrolling for September, taking deposits or at least building the wait list, and have booked out. By the time September comes around, that one could already be sold out just from the momentum that she's already built from the first round. And that September start date then would bring her, for the people starting in that month, it'd be September. That would be payment plans for the rest of the year. That could be another 6-figure launch. And for people that had already committed early, say they paid their deposit over summer, she would then be stacking those early payments on top of the existing payments from her round one. And so just using that figure that we talked about between the group program and the one-to-one clients, she could easily be doing 70, 80k just by having that round one and overlapping with round two with their early payments or deposits stacking on top of the existing clients' payment plans. So right now, we're getting her into 70 to 80k months in half the time. This is just from one program, guys. Let me come back in because we're only on slide 1 right now. So next thing we would do, obviously to support this volume of clients, we're going to need some sturdy systems in place. So it'd be helping her to set up her systems that can support high volume sales and client delivery. Because this person, she likely already has some form of system in place. You would hope. you would freaking hope. But in order to be able to serve 25 people or more if she wants, we do need systems doing all the manual work for us. Any admin, anything that's happening at a certain time, on a certain date, in a certain way, we want to be automating that and taking that off her plate so that she's not doing any of that. So things that I'd recommend here are having a solid all-in-one platform that has everything in one place. We don't want to be trying to link together 4 different platforms. We want one platform that does everything. Really juicy lead gen freebie funnel that leads into her paid program. Again, so that it's a no-brainer and that people are signing up, getting her freebie, and then coming into her paid program on automation. Automated client onboarding process. Again, so they've had that freebie, and at the point of putting in their payment details, choosing their payment plan, that next part of actually coming into the program and what those next steps looks like, whether they're starting on a certain date or starting automatically, that all of that is automated. Automation's in place for client delivery so that she's not manually sending any kind of reminder emails, notifications, any of that sort of stuff. It's all done for her. Automated payment reminders. You're juggling this number of clients, you don't want to be the one that's chasing payments. You want the system doing that for you to send And it's a great client experience as well to remind people when their payment is due, when's it coming, and to send out all the receipts and everything just automated. And then lastly, automated onboarding or upgrade opportunities. So for clients that are coming towards the end of their time, that they have that timely reminder and the either invitation to take the next step and whatever that looks like, or if it is that they're coming towards the end of their term with her, that they're clear on what the next steps look like and they've got all of their questions answered. So all of these things can be set up and automated inside one system. This would allow her to be signing and serving new clients every single month without needing to lift a finger. So that again, her time and her mental and physical energy can be spent just serving clients on those live calls, not on all of the activities in between the calls. And then lastly, the third thing that I would help her with. So we've got the program, we've got the systems. The final thing that I would help her with is helping her to create better content that does the selling for her, so that she can cut out having to do sales calls and cut out having to send 50 cold DMs a day. Like, what's the actual fact? That is insane. So I'd show her how to speak to her dream clients and the specific nuanced problems that they are experiencing. Someone at this level has got clients who have very specific problems, needs, goals, desires, but she's clearly not bringing those into her content because she's having to go outbound, which means that there's not enough traffic or energy coming into her. So whether that's that she's not visible enough, whether that's that she is not getting seen enough on a day-to-day basis, she's not having enough conversations, and she's having to put all of this energy out to go find people because there's not enough energy coming in. So that tells me that her content, messaging, visibility activities aren't working at the speed or frequency that she needs them to be working with to sustain this level of business, which is why she has to do so much outbound. I mean, like, great tenacity from her, but also like really freaking tiring. She's obviously built up really great skills and resilience and all of these things, but girl, this is the time. Like, you've built your incredible masculine side, but now it's time where you can sit in your receiving energy. I'm not necessarily taking the foot off the gas, but we can bring things in that do so much more of the work for you so that you don't need to be in your chase energy all of the time. This is why I know that she's getting to bed exhausted every night and why she's not in the mood for sex, because she is chasing every freaking day. Good God. So coming back into helping her to create better content. So but show her how to speak to her dream clients and the specific nuanced problems that they are experiencing, and show her how to bring exactly these problems into her content and exactly how she would solve them using her unique method, using her unique way of doing things, and what impact that would make on their life, business, health, mindset, finances, happiness, in terms of the results that she's getting for her clients. Between her process and what that means for her clients, the type of results that they're getting, there's definitely a lack of how much this is in her content currently. So it would really help her to distill what is in her head and bring it into her content. Because right now, honestly, it sounds like she is a sponge she's just completely waterlogged. There's so much in here. And to be fair, it's probably that she doesn't have the time to create this level of detailed content. But if we were able to save her some time by working harder, not smarter with her offers so that she could serve more people, she would have more of that time to be able to create better quality content and therefore attract better quality people. Then her content can be doing more of the selling for her so that she doesn't have to spend all of her time on sales calls or sending 50 outbound cold DMs a day. If her content did more of the selling for her and really showed what her unique expertise is, her unique way of doing things, her unique way of looking at things, her unique way of solving things, her unique way of getting results for clients, what type of results that she gets for clients, even if that's really varied, bring some of these stories into her content so that people can resonate with the unique either struggles, problems, or desires of the people who are currently in her world. So it would be massively helping her to bring this into her content, because by focusing in with her messaging, she can be pre-qualifying clients 24/7 through her content, not just only when she's on the phone. So this would allow her to not need to use sales calls or not need to be sending outbound DMs. So coming back into how this is going to help her, I'm estimating that this would save her at least an hour per or more per day. So there's an extra 5 hours per week saved without including weekends, at least. So let's wrap that up into the outcome. We've got one new high ticket group program launch that's now serving 25 clients with plenty of capacity to increase this number. You've got 67.5 cash per month. And if we look a few months ahead, we can easily get that up to 70 or 80K, where you think about the second launch for this group program and the overlapping payment plans. You've got half the amount of one-to-one clients being served, half, and 27.5 hours saved, cutting her week down by half. So this would mean that she could now only work, if she wanted to, 5 hours a day. She could easily take off mornings, she could take off afternoons and or weekends off as she pleased. She'd be able to enjoy more spaciousness, more breathing room in her calendar while still breathing in the same level of income. Did I say breathing? While still bringing in the same level of income. And most importantly, she'd be able to get married without feeling like she's got somewhere else to be. I cannot imagine, as someone who, it's not particularly a life goal of mine, but if I was to walk that path, I cannot imagine having such an important life event and you not even really looking forward to it. That's insane to me, especially with the level of expenses of weddings. How are you going to say that you're not even looking forward to it? Like, what? Why are you going through with this thing? But anyway, let me not. So she could get married without feeling like she's got somewhere else to be. And she could show up better for herself and others as a better human, as a better partner, and a better CEO. That is the most important thing. That right there, being able to show up for yourself before anybody else, being able to show up for yourself and others as a better human, a better partner, a better mentor for your clients, better coach, a better CEO for your business. That is what we want. This is what we do in my world. You can see how passionate about this, and this is why I wanted to bring this story, because it's so nuanced. And when you can get into the breakdown, you can see where we can save time over here and we can work smarter, not harder over here. And actually, if we were to tweak this thing and do things differently over here, I kind of imagine it like, and I've never done DJing in my life, but you know how they've got all these little, I'm going to say buzzers, no, little dials that you could turn one dial up over here to turn one dial down over here. And then if you add more, a little bit more over here, you can take away from over here. And this is what it is when you're creating what your dream business really looks like. Your dials are going to look completely different to somebody else's. But when you know what you're working with, and in this case, we know the numbers of the level of income that she's likely to want to maintain because she's already bringing that in, but it was coming at a really high expense in terms of her time and happiness and her wedding, various other things. And so it's about being able to move things through an equalizer to be like, where can we take things away to be able to add things over here? Where can we work smarter, not harder, so that we can still bring those results in over here without it having to come at the expense of over here? You get to build your dream business, but it has to come with you building that into the business. Because if you don't